The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home.
Welcome to Caravel Academy for tonight's top 10 softball game between the number 4 and the host, the Buccaneers. They are 1-1 on the season, and the visiting Smyrna Eagles, who are ranked number 8 in our recent poll. They have an overall record of 4-2, and they've won 4 straight ball games. Great to have you join us here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports, and always great to have an opportunity for evening softball, and we can get to Caravel and Red Lion, the only 2 programs in the state that have fields with lights. All right, let's talk about the Smyrna Eagles first. Under head coach Nikki Shirey, they're on a 4-game winning streak. Shannon, we saw them last week get a win over previously unbeaten Lake Forest in a good offensive performance, and they got an outstanding pitching effort by Lindsay Roscoe.
They did. Lindsay pitched really well at Lake Forest as just a freshman and came in the second inning in relief of Slaney and dominated that Lake Forest lineup. And it will be interesting to see how she does tonight with this Caravel lineup. And for Smyrna, having 5 or 6 lefties in the lineup could be a challenge for Caravel's pitching tonight. It's not often that you see a lineup with that many lefties, and it actually gives them a lot of options offensively to play a little bit of short game. So it'll be interesting to see how both coaches attack that and how the pitchers fare tonight.
No real changes for head coach Shirey for Smyrna, although Ryan Durnall will be in right field. Loretta Price, instead of being in right, will be the designated player tonight. And still behind the plate, Addison Weissenberger, and she'll be the flex player in the game. Roscoe will start in the circle. Everything else is the same that we saw against Lake Forest. So around the outfield, Michaela Brantley in center, Kirsten Johnson in left. She's the leadoff batter. Megan Shirey at third, Lacey Donovan short, Gianna Duca at second, and Haley McCutcheon will man first base. I'm Glenn Frazier alongside Shannon Timmons. We've got Jason Winchell producing the ball game this evening and Pat Garriantes on camera. Now let's talk a little bit about the home team. Under veteran coach Randy Johnson, the Bucks have only played 2 games. They had a win against Concord to start out and a tough 2-1 loss to Rising Sun Maryland. Returning from last year, pitcher Casey Zenitis and catcher Brooke Holdsworth, who had 2 good games against Rising Sun in that close loss. Brooks, one of the best long ball hitters in the state, but as always, Caravel is loaded, Shannon. They have talented shortstop in Diomede, Moxley Grygo, and the Rocks as well. They're just loaded, and everybody back from last year but one player.
Yeah, so certainly Caravel has some chemistry that they can rely on when things get tough. We had joked in pregame, I don't think I'd ever want to be the team that faces Caravel after a loss, and unfortunately that's where Smyrna sits tonight. But Caravel is loaded, but we saw with Rising Sun, they have to come out and produce. And Casey struggled a little bit in the circle to find her locations and find her spots, and Rising Sun was able to put the ball in play. So we'll see how they bounce back from that tonight, and how they compete against the Eagles.
Take a look at the Caravel Buccaneers defensive alignment. Brooke Holdsworth will be behind the dish. Casey Zenitis in the circle. Going around the infield, it's Haley Grygo at third, Veronica Diomede at short, Morgan Moxley at second, and Brooklyn Richardson at first. And then around the outfield, Layla Rock in right, Kendall Brown in center, and Paige Richardson in left field. Miranda McIlvain will be the designated player, and the flex will be the pitcher, Zenitis. Let's take a look at Caravel's record and the schedule they have coming up. Like we said, they had the easy win over Concord, 14-1, and the 2-1 loss to Rising Sun. Only 2 games in. And then they go out of state, which they typically do.
They do. And as a non-conference team, it gives Coach Johnson a lot of flexibility in his schedule to play some out-of-state teams that get to play more games than we do typically here in Delaware, and that certainly helps him headed towards the state tournament. They played Gloucester Catholic last year, as well as Cape Henlopen came up and played Gloucester Catholic last year and sent them home with 2 losses that day. But it's always good to see the out-of-state competition come in and kind of get a feel for where you are outside of state, and certainly, again, like I said, those teams help when you're looking at state tournament runs.
After those 2 games against the out-of-state competition, by the way, both of those games will be right here at Caravel. then some in-state teams. So they're going to get Cape Henlopen and then Hodson, Del Mar, and then they're going to play Delmarva Christian twice. They have a home and away series with them this season. That's going to be very interesting.
It is going to be very interesting. Kaylin Yoder and Delmarva Christian just picked up another win today, I believe, against Del Mar, and she is cruising right now. Just no matter who she faces, she's pitching very well. She creates some offense for Delmarva Christian, so I think that will be a very interesting matchup. And Coach Johnson put him on the schedule twice. You know, Yoder's been touted as a great pitcher. We know she's already signed to go to Liberty and play for Dot Richardson, so he wanted to play the best. You know, to be the best, you got to play the best, and that's kind of his philosophy, talking to him before the game, so that's why his schedule looks like it does.
Conversely, let's take a look at what Smyrna has done. Smyrna has played 6 games to the 2 for Caravel, lost their first 2 to Delmarva Christian 3-1, and a close loss to Milford 5-4, a game that the Eagles were coming back late in the game and just couldn't quite pull that one out. Milford off to a great start this year as well. Then they've run off 4 straight wins. 1-run win over Sussex Tech, a 1-run win over Del Mar, another one-run win over Polytech, and then we had them on the air last week when they beat Lake Forest 9-2. So after Caravel, they go out of state to play Queen Anne's. Indian River will be up after that. So 3 straight road games for the Eagles before they host Dover, and then they run the gauntlet. They go to Midway to play DMA. They host Laurel. They have Cape on the road. They have Caesar Rodney, Sussex Central, and Appo the last game of the season. So they, from the midpoint to the end, a tough road to hoe.
It is tough, and sitting in the Henlopen Northern Division is so difficult in softball. There's so much talent in pitchers and hitters, and that is just where a lot of strength of softball lies in our state. And so they certainly do have a challenging schedule the rest of the way out. So they're going to have to figure out how to pick up some wins and hang with some of those, you know, difficult teams in the Henlopen North and see where they can end up and make a run again headed toward the state tournament. Smyrna is another team that's typically in the tournament and has faced this Caravel team in the tournament in the past. So it'll just be interesting to see how they fare. Pretty young team overall. So some have been there and experienced that tournament, and some have not. So it'll be interesting to see how those games prepare them for postseason play.
All right, the 2 teams are out on the field loosening up. We'll be starting in a few minutes. Right now we're going to step aside and hear from some of our valuable sponsors. When we come back, we'll take a look at our top 10 right here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
By Ferris on Kirkwood Highway, so I knew that they existed. We stopped in the showroom. We just clicked like from day one. They did a total kitchen renovation for us. Ferris was so organized. They were on top of everything from day one. Always here when they said they would be, always on time, kept to the schedule. The level of comfort speaking to everyone that works at Ferris, they were just super friendly, easy to talk to. It was like they were friends, not, you know, people coming to work on our kitchen. The room is totally transformed from what it used to look like. To have all this seating now and the big table, the bench seats, it's great. I love coming home and just walking through the laundry room into the kitchen every day. It was just a great experience. We love Ferris.
High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high quality products with exceptional hospitality.
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
But have you tried Premier?
Back here at Caravel Academy, coming up, a top 10 softball matchup between the 4th-ranked 1-1 Caravel Buccaneers and the 4-2 8th-ranked Smyrna Eagles. Head coach Nikki Shirey and, of course, Randy Johnson manning that third base coaching box for the Caravel Buccaneers. Let's take a look at our top 10 right now, our Delaware Live 302 Sports top 10. Delmarva Christian remains undefeated, 7-0. They're at the top of our poll, and they beat Delmar today by a final of 8-0. They also had close wins over Sussex Central and Padua, and they will they already faced Delmar, and we know what happened there. St. Mark's we have ranked second, undefeated at 5-0. They had a win against Conrad last week. They are off for the Easter break until Saturday when they will take on Hodson Votech. Coming in at number 3, the Sussex Central Golden Knights with a record of 5-1 and a nice come-from-behind 8-5 win over Laurel recently. They are also off this week for spring break until Saturday when they will take on Newark Charter. We have Caravel ranked 4th. Apo undefeated at 4-0, ranked number 5. They got a 9-1 win over Red Lion Christian last week. They will host, of course, they're hosting the game. They take on William Penn. 2-2 are the Colonials, and that takes place on the 13th. And then Saturday, they have a tough one with Indian River. Indian River, very good squad, and we have them in the top 10 as well. Milford ranked number 6, 5-1 record. They have on their resume a close 2-1 win over Caesar Rodney and Peyton Shields, and also a 5-3 W against Sussex Academy. They play ECHS this week. Number 7, Caesar Rodney at 4-1. Only lost to Milford by a score of 2-1. Tough week ahead for the Riders. They will take on the 3-1 Cavaliers and the 4-2 Laurel Bulldogs. Number 8, the Smyrna Eagles. Number 9, Indian River. The aforementioned Indians are 4-2. Their only losses have come to Sussex Central and Delmarva Christian. And again, they will host Apo the 15th this Saturday. And rounding out the top 10, the Laurel Bulldogs at 5-2 with that 5-4 win over DMA last Saturday, and they host the Riders on the 13th. Others receiving consideration for the top 10 are DMA, Lake Forest, who won today, now at 5-1, Middletown Cavaliers, and the Padua Pandas. Shannon, any comments on that?
You know, I think Indian River is going to be a team to watch. They have put together quite a squad, and they've got a bunch of returners. They've played together for a while. They've built that culture. So I think Indian River is a team to watch, and obviously Milford. Milford's been a little bit of a surprise with Sean Brennan going back to coach at Milford after spending a couple years at Cape, and to see how he develops that program after being gone for a few years. So I think those are two teams we need to keep an eye on in your top 10.
Yeah, and it doesn't come to mind right at the moment. The pitcher this year from Milford, who's really doing a great job. See, I threw a curveball at her. It's a change. I'm going off speed, and Shannon wasn't ready for that pitch. I'm going to say Reynolds.
I can see your face. Kalia Reynolds.
Kalia Reynolds,
I could see your face and couldn't bring her name
Kalia,
up.
we're sorry. If you're viewing the game and you're friends and family,
we should know that.
Yeah, we know you're doing a great job down there. And we have our eyes on you, obviously, and we have you number 6 in our poll. And then, of course, it's Kinsley down there at Indian River.
Yeah,
who's doing
she's
a
throwing
great
well.
job. Yep. So that's the top 10. Again, we will update that every week. You want to visit our website at DelawareLive.com, and I'll have the latest on my article inside the circle. We'll recap what happened during the week, and we'll also feature our live stream game. So this game here tonight will feature in that article, and then we'll also let you know what are the top 10 matchups coming up the following week. So we'll have that every week for you. Try to get that posted sometime during the weekend on Saturday or Sunday. We're going to step aside again for a little break here. Again, you're viewing the pregame right here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports. Coming up, number 4 Caravel against number 8 Smyrna. High school softball on a great evening here in Bear, Delaware.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Today we're at Lupo Italian Kitchen in downtown Rehoboth Beach. Come check us out. Located inside the Hotel Rehoboth, Lupo serves coastal Italian cuisine with fresh pasta made in-house daily. Lupo features plenty of unique craft cocktails and an extensive award-winning all-Italian wine list. Popular dishes include lobster bucatini, veal meatballs, grilled swordfish, and eggplant parmesan. Lupo Italian Kitchen on Rehoboth Avenue, serving happy hour daily and dinner 7 days a week. See you soon. Hi, I'm Scott.
Signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412. Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Cassidy Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life. Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412.
Starting lineups are being announced to the fans here tonight at Caravel Academy. So let's run down the starters for you. And we'll begin with the visiting Smyrna Eagles. Leading off, Johnson in left field, Brantley at center. Shirey bats third at third base. Cleanup hitters McCutcheon over at first base. The second baseman, Duca, bats number 5. Then Donovan at short. Price, the DP. Roscoe, the pitcher, and Durnall in right field. Weissenberg is catching and is playing the flex position. And for the home team, Caravel Buccaneers, Kendall Brown will lead off in center field. Veronica Diomede is at short, batting second. Grygo at third, batting third. How about that? Both third basemen bat third in the lineup. Catcher Brooke Holdsworth, cleanup for Caravel. Brooklyn Richardson at first base, bats fifth, followed by her sister, Paige Richardson, in left field. Moxley at second, McIlvain the DP, and Layla Rock in left field. And now we'll step aside for the national anthem. We've had the playing of our national anthem. We have given you folks viewing and tuning in the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. And soon to take the field will be the Caravel Buccaneers. Let's set them up defensively for you. Behind the plate, Brooke Holdsworth. In the circle, Casey Zanitis. Around the infield, at first base, Brooklyn Richardson, Morgan Moxley at second, Veronica Diomede at short, and Haley Grygo at third base. Around the outfield, left field to right, it's Paige Richardson in left, Kendall Brown at center, and Layla Rock will be right out in front of our camera point here in right field. Miranda McIlvain is the DP. Smyrna defensively behind the plate, Addison Weissenberger. She's also the flex player for this evening's game. Lindsay Roscoe in the circle. First base, Haley McCutcheon. Gianna Duca at second. Shortstop, Lacey Donovan, Megan Shirey at third. And around the outfield, Kirsten Johnson in left, Michaela Brantley in center, and Ryan Durnall in right. Loretta Price is the DP.
And Glenn, you know I always look at the pitchers. It's just sort of my thing. It's so important in softball that we have pitchers, and and kids that can get the job done in the circle. We kind of live and die by that in our sport. So looking at Zanitis, her ERA, and they've only played 2 games, but she's a 1.55 with 8 strikeouts, 2 walks. Interestingly enough, she was not Caravel's starting pitcher last year. Brooklyn Richardson, who's their first baseman, took over those duties early on as they brought Casey along. And then Brooklyn actually is the one who said, hey, she's ready, so let's put her in and see what she can do. And if she gets in any trouble, then I'll help her out. So that kind of teamwork is amazing, and that culture just breeds winning, and that's something that Caravel strives to do here. So she was able to go in and get herself a state title last year.
Yeah.
So that's impressive.
Yeah, it was a young team last year that won the championship. And, again, they only lost 1 starter from last year's team. There's the throw down. We are just about ready to get underway here. So leading it off for Smyrna will be Johnson, the left fielder, and we saw her hit a dinger last week.
Yeah, she's definitely a tough out and is a great leadoff hitter for Smyrna. Seems to find her way on base no matter what, and that is the role of your leadoff. You want her on base to have those power hitters come in behind her. Interestingly enough, again, there's a lot of lefties tonight, so we'll have to see how Casey's able to handle that out of the circle.
Johnson was 2 for 4 the last time we saw her against Lake Forest. Zanitis is ready. Bunt attempt. She pulls it back, but it's a called strike. So we are underway here. A little breezy, kind of partly cloudy, but otherwise a real nice evening here.
It's a great atmosphere here for kids to play under the lights.
Good fastball, a lot of action on that pitch from Zanitis, and an 0-2 count on the leadoff batter, Johnson. Yeah, it's a treat for anybody to come up here and play. Showed bunt, pulled it back. They're going to appeal to first base, and he says no, she did not offer. So 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Johnson with Brantley on deck. And there's a called third strike. Got her looking for out number 1. I've seen some pretty large crowds up here with these night games, especially if you get one maybe on a Saturday or a Friday night when there's not a lot of other activity and schedule going on in the state, and everybody's up here watching.
And if you've never been to this complex, the way their fields are aligned, if there's a baseball game and a softball game going on at the same time, sometimes soccer, it draws a huge crowd, and people are able to kind of stop by each game on the way to different fields. So it's not unusual to see a large crowd here.
That pitch was a little bit high for a ball on Brantley. Brantley, the center fielder for Coach Shirey.
And Brantley did a little bit of pitching for Smyrna last year, too. Simone Edge had a knee injury last year. Unfortunately, has re-injured that knee this year from what we understand. So Michaela had to do a little bit of pitching last year to help her team out and come in from center field, and she did a great job for the Eagles last year. Just being that team player and kind of sacrificing herself for the good of the team.
That's a shame about Simone, losing basically 2 whole seasons to that knee issue. Brantley fouled off the last pitch down the third baseline. 1-1 count on her. 1 out here in the top of the first. Pop up, right side. It's going to go foul and out of play. Ball and 2 strikes on Brantley with the coach's daughter, Shirey, on deck. And we talked about Shannon last week during the broadcast with Smyrna about how many girls on the team, their moms played for the championship team back, it was a 97?
93.
93. And you've got the same thing here with parents and daughters here with Caravel.
Oh, yeah, the Richardsons that are here now. There's 3 Richardsons on the team for Caravel, and that is a big Caravel name, and their moms have played here too. So there's a lot of history between moms and daughters just on these 2 teams alone, but throughout the state, I would imagine as well.
2-2 count on Brantley. Zanitis ready. Ground ball, left side, dribbles up the line, and that goes foul. So the count holds 2-2. I'm Glenn Fraser alongside Shannon Timmons, providing color. Jason Winchell producing, and the versatile Pat Garriante is on camera. Doing some kind of dance over there. Unfortunately, we can't see that. because he's the cameraman. Ground ball right side, fielded by the second baseman over to first, and there's out number 2. So the put out goes Moxley to Richardson.
And it's good work by 17 in the circle, Casey Zanitis. She's kind of just nibbling around the plate, seeing what, the umpire will call. And that's something that pitchers have to do early in the games, kind of figure out the umpire's strike zone. It's not necessarily about the pitches they like to throw, but how can you get the guy in blue to be happy with what you're throwing? So she's trying to settle in and develop that consistency. And looks like she's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, another good pitch right there on the outside part of the plate. Start Shirey out with a strike. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Number 4, Caravel. Number 8, Smyrna. Swing and a miss. 0-2 count on Shirey. And that ball looked like it kind of tailed low and away.
Yeah, Casey throws away. She has an incredible curveball, and that was one of her issues, I think, not spinning the ball well for the curveball against Rising Sun. So I'm sure she's done a lot of work this week to correct that, just in pitching lessons and in practice. But she does have an excellent curveball, and I'm sure they will see that a lot this evening.
That pitch fouled off right side. So count remains 0-2 on Shirey. 2 outs here. Zanitis delivers. Ground ball right side again as he shortened the stroke. And again, it'll go 4-3 for the putout. And that'll take us through the top half of the first inning. Smyrna fails to get a base runner. They go down 1-2-3. Caravel coming up to bat. As we keep it right here, live from Caravel Academy. Lights are on now, and the sun's starting to peek through before it sets to our right. And so we've got a combination of plenty of illumination at the moment.
And that's a great start for Casey in the circle for Caravel. She was ahead of all of her hitters, which is something we want our pitchers to be able to do. They get to settle in. They feel a little bit more flexibility with pitches that they can throw, and I believe Brooke Holdsworth behind the plate is calling the game tonight for Caravel. So that's impressive as well, that she's reading hitters in the box and calling things that her pitcher's comfortable throwing. So that's super important, and she was off to a great start. So it'll be interesting to see how Lindsay Roscoe comes out and if she can effectively do the same thing.
She was very effective against Lake Forest last week when we featured that game. Slaney started the game, gave up 4 hits in that first inning, couple of runs, and then the Eagles came right back in the bottom of the first and took a 4-2 lead. And then Coach Shirey decided, well, I'm going to switch things up a little bit, so she brings in Roscoe, and she shut him down the rest of the way.
She did it. She did the same thing. She was very effective. She got ahead of hitters, and I can't stress enough how much more comfortable your pitchers are able to throw when they know they're ahead. Defensively, the defense is usually in a better position when they know they're getting ahead of the hitters. So it's a different mentality for the whole entire team at that point.
All right, Lindsay Roscoe is ready to go. Leading off for Caravel is Brown, the center fielder, and she takes a called strike. And you just got done talking about it, getting ahead of the hitters, and here we go again.
And impressive for Roscoe just as a freshman to step in the circle and take that rollover once that injury happened to Simone Edge.
Second pitch, a little high and outside, so the count evens at 1-1. Diomede is on deck. Grygo in the hole for Caravel. They played a JV game earlier here tonight. Good crowd here for that. We don't see a lot of that in high school softball.
No, we don't get the opportunity to see a lot of the JV teams play.
Smyrna jumped out to a 4-0 lead in that JV game, and then Caravel came roaring back to win 7-4. Bunt attempt, or a little just reaching out to protecting the plate. Fouled off, 2-2 count on Brown.
Kendall Brown is a leadoff, hitting .333 so far this season. Typically gets on base for Caravel as well. High on base percentage, which is what you're looking for out of your leadoff hitter. It's a tough spot to occupy in the lineup.
Sure is. There's a fly ball. Actually, it's not going to get out of the infield. Settling under at the shortstop for Smyrna, Lacey Donovan. There's out number 1.
In talking with Coach Shirey before they played Lake Forest, Lacey Donovan's a player that was typically a DP last year and has worked her way into that starting lineup as a shortstop. So it's nice to see those younger athletes come up and start filling positions as they lose seniors or they have to shuffle the lineup around due to injuries, and she's one of those kids.
Diomede up now, the shortstop for Caravel. She's had a very impressive career here for the Bucks. She lays down a bunt left side and just got her. Good play by the third baseman for Smyrna. Shirey coming up and making that play. Because Diomede has wheels.
Yes, she does. Headed to the University of Delaware next year to continue her softball career. And Megan Shirey, the third baseman that makes that play, is headed to UMBC to continue her softball career next year.
Good information, Shannon. And I'm just so impressed. It's great for me to see all these girls and the local talent in Delaware getting to play at the next level, getting good education, too.
It is, and there's so much opportunity for them these days to go play and continue their career while they get an education. It's so important, and there's so many things we know that you learn through sports, just time management and how to be a good teammate and all of those sorts of things that they get to continue that at the next level is very exciting.
Haley Grygo is up to the plate, the third baseman. She's taken 2 pitches, both balls. So this is the first batter that Lindsay's fallen behind. She lines it in the gap between the right and the center fielder. She's gone for 2. She might go for 3. She's going to try it. Here's the relay throw, and she slides in safe. A triple for Grygo.
And Grygo struggled a little bit against Rising Sun, so I know she's another kid that I was here for that game, fortunately, just to enjoy as a fan, and she was over in the batting cage right away afterwards, working on her swing. She was not happy with her performance that night and wanted to help her team be better, so she went to work right after that game.
Well, that was a really nice piece of hitting there. Got ahead in the count 2-0, and then, of course, Roscoe had to come in with something. She was ready for it. Now the cleanup batter, the catcher, Brooke Holdsworth. Brooke had a home run and a double in that loss to Rising Sun.
Had 3 RBIs. She's batting .750 and looking at Coastal Carolina as her college.
Okay. That's a pretty nice place to be down at Myrtle Beach.
Absolutely. Beats the weather in Delaware, that's for sure.
Yeah, got that right. And she jumps ahead in the count 2-0. Yeah, but you know, these Delaware girls, they're used to being at the beach here. They just want to continue that on the next
they
level.
Are. You were talking about Brooke being such a power hitter. She placed second in a powerlifting competition recently. I was talking to Sharon Hunter, their assistant coach.
Wow.
So she's a strong girl.
Well, we were talking about walk-up music beforehand. I don't think I've heard any tonight.
I haven't either, and that's unusual for Caravel.
Holdsworth ahead in the count now, 3 balls, no strikes. I would think Roscoe here is going to be careful with her with that runner in scoring position. Well, she gets a high pitch for a strike, so it's a 3-1 count. Brooklyn Richardson is on deck.
And putting Holdsworth on is a great move if you're not in danger, because she can go yard on you very quickly. And so.
Oh, just fouled that one off.
So some teams stay away from her and don't even give her much to see or much to hit.
I don't blame them. Full count now on Brooke. 2 outs here, bottom of the first, no score. But Grygo is standing over at third base. Roscoe's pitch, ground ball right through the box. It's deflected by the pitcher, and she is out at first, or safe?
Safe.
Safe. Waiting for the call from that base umpire. So deflected, that's going to go 1-4 to 3, and they just could not get Holdsworth, who beat that out. And now we've got some discussion going on with the umpires. That's a pretty hard shot. I'm going to give her a single on that.
I did as well.
And an RBI, of course. And we have some discussion with the umpires out in the circle. I think they're just checking on Lindsay, make sure she's okay. I'm going to have to defer to my cameraman. I don't know whether that came off her ankle.
So courtesy runner coming in now for Brooke Holdsworth, who's the catcher.
It looks like it's hard to tell with those ponytails. I think that's 18.
Katrina Barron.
Okay. Junior will run for Brooke at first base. 1-0 Caravel on top. And that was a rocket shot up through the box, and Lindsay couldn't quite get a hold of that one. Deflected to Duca, and it's a very close play first.
It was nice hustle by Duca to catch that off the deflection and to still try to remain with that play.
That brings up Brooklyn Richardson. Pitch, swing and a miss for a strike. Once again at first base, Katrina Barron is running for Holdsworth. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, has her in the hole. 0-2.
Another batter that Roscoe gets ahead of, and not sure you guys can hear it at home, but we saw this when they played Lake Forest as well. Lindsay's defense is always talking to her and telling her what a great pitch it is, and if she misses just a little bit, they're always in her corner backing her up, so you can hear the defensive players talking to their pitcher, and that's so important.
A little meeting at the mound with the defensive corners. And now Shirey and McCutcheon return to their positions. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A little outside. Ball and 2 strikes on Brooklyn Richardson. Bottom of the first here from Caravel Academy. 1-0, the Bucks on top. And they did it with 2 outs. That pitch low in the zone. Runner thought about it. Barron will go back. 2-2 count on Richardson. Roscoe stepped back behind the rubber. Now she's ready to deliver this 2-2 pitch. Missed a little high, and the count runs full. Second consecutive batter.
And that's a nice pitch for Roscoe. Seeing if she can get that pitch called by the umpire. It's good placement.
Yeah.
Especially when she has her in the hole as a hitter.
They're fouled off. Count holds at 3-2. Of course, Brooklyn Richardson will get a good jump here.
And typically what you're going to see these Caravel hitters do is go deep in counts and get some quality at-bats. It's the one thing they didn't do against Rising Sun, and I think you'll see that adjustment from Coach Randy Johnson tonight.
Pitch a swing and a miss to end the bottom of the first. So Caravel on 2 hits will score a run. They do it with 2 outs, and at the end of the one, it's the home team Buccaneers 1 and the Smyrna Eagles nothing. We'll be back for the second inning right after these messages on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
Your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
Back here at Caravel Academy for inning number 2. The Buccaneers with a 1-0 lead, and Smyrna will have McCutcheon leading off, the first baseman, then the second baseman Duca, and the shortstop Donovan. Facing Casey Zanitis, who retired the side in order in the top of the first.
And McCutcheon had a great day against that Lake Forest team. Did a lot for offensive production for the Smyrna Eagles that day. We'll see what she can get done here this evening.
Called strike to begin her at bat. Yeah, she had 5 RBIs in that game last week. Was our player of the game. Fouled off a high pitch, so she's in the hole 0-2. Smyrna looking for their first base runner of the game.
Haley McCutcheon, a first-team all-conference first baseman. ranked in the top 40 in Delaware online players coming into the preseason.
Takes a pitch a little bit outside for a ball.
And that's a great pitch with a hitter 0-2 and a hole. That's a great pitch by Casey Zanitis, too.
Yeah. You got to have a pretty good eye to take 0-2 when that close. There's a ground ball right through the right side of the infield, and Smyrna's first hit and base runner. So she stays hot. How about 4 for her last 5?
She is definitely a tough out at the plate. She sees the ball well.
All right, Coach. Now you got Duca up there. She's fast. She's also very good with the bat. So do you want to bunt McCutcheon down to second?
Well, you're going to see Gianna Duca come through as either a slap or just put the bunt down, and everything that she puts down because of the way she swings is going to go to that left side of the field. So they have a great opportunity to advance McCutcheon.
Oh, she deadened that bunt nicely. The overthrow at first. McCutcheon will take third. Duca's heading for second, and she will make it. Second and third, nobody out for the Eagles here in the top of the second. I think that's a bunt single, and then she takes the bag on the overthrow. But what a perfect bunt. I mean, she deadened it nicely. A lot of times you'll see players go to the bunt, and they don't pull that bat back just that smidge to deaden the ball. They'll get too much on it, and it'll go travel right down to the third baseman
And
quickly.
Caravel wet this field down before the game, too. So that also helps kind of kill the spin on a ball if you're trying to put a bunt down. So great placement by Gianna Duca. Can't ask for it to be better. And the field conditions help that ball sit tight right in front of the catcher.
So that brings up the shortstop, Donovan. And she has a 1-1 count on her. Took a high pitch there. Price on deck. Smyrna threatening here in the top of the second, trailing 1-0.
Lacey Donovan, one of the only right-handed hitters in Smyrna's lineup.
Yeah, right.
So typically we teach our kids to hit behind your runners. And in this situation, they have one of the only righties up. So hopefully she can get that job done and put it on the right side of the field, score a run.
She's in the hole, Shannon. A ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out here. Takes a pitch. 2-2 count. That was close.
And we'll have to see if Casey gets her with a curveball. It is one of her stronger pitches. It's one of her go-to pitches. See if she can get that, either have her swing through it or get the call.
We shall see. No, missed a little bit high, and maybe
no, he called it.
Oh, wow, that's a late call. And out number 1. Second strikeout of the ball game for Zanitis.
And there's that curveball. When she spins it well. She's really effective with it.
Came at a great time for her and her team. And that brings up the designated player, Loretta Price. She takes a strike. Smyrna trying to take advantage here. Second and third, nobody out. Now there's 1 out.
And I know I mentioned earlier, it does look like Holdsworth is calling this game for her pitcher.
There's a fly ball deep, and a running catch is made by the center fielder, and McCutcheon has to go back to the bag. Now on the throw, she's going to take home and tie the game. She had broke towards the plate. I think they thought it was going to be in the gap. Nice catch by the center fielder for Caravel, Kendall Brown.
So Loretta Price, the DP, comes in, does her job.
Duca holds it second. 2 outs now. That brings up the pitcher, Roscoe.
Yeah, they both broke right away.
Yeah.
So I think they didn't think that Kendall Brown would catch up to that in center field. They had a lot of retreating to do.
Ground ball left side. Short hop by the third baseman. Strong throw to first, and that will end the top half of the second. But the Eagles on 2 hits will tie the game. It's now 1-1 as we keep things right here. Once again, real nice evening here at Caravel Academy for this top 10 matchup.
And we have talked about the history of both of these teams, and I just want to take a second to recognize the strength of these two programs, and certainly Caravel has a long history of state championships, and I'll rattle off the years. I did a little bit of history. 91, 99, 2000, 2001 under Coach Steve Baker, 2004 and 2006 with Tim Wampler at the helm, 2011, 16, 21, and 22 under Randy Johnson. Smyrna's only state championship in 1993 under Joe Carter, and then back-to-back in 18 and 19 under Shirey, and she was able to defeat the Caravel Bucks in that 18 state title. So there's a lot of history here. These are great programs. They offer great opportunities for these kids to come in and play and be successful. So it's good to see this matchup anytime that we can get it, because they are both quality programs.
All right, we're about ready to start the bottom half of the second. Leading off for the Caravel Buccaneers will be Paige Richardson, and then Morgan Moxley, and she'll be followed by the DP, Miranda McIlvain. Facing Lindsay Roscoe, who recorded a strikeout in that first inning.
And has worked ahead of most of her hitters, so credit to her again as a freshman coming in and being able to get ahead. So important.
Here's Paige Richardson. Roscoe ready to go. First pitch. Nice pitch low in the zone. Gets the call.
She's been consistently low in the zone, so if Caravel hitters are going to look low zone, which we do teach our players to hunt low.
Yeah, she hit a low one, and that's going to be lifted out into left field for a base hit.
So if she stays consistently low, the Caravel hitters will make that adjustment.
You were talking about that before we started the game. I thought that was a real good point, that Lindsay keeps the ball low in the zone, and that's where the Buccaneer hitters like it.
It is, and that's where a lot of teams are taught. You know, we teach these kids to hunt low. It only takes one player to get you out on a fly ball, right? Only one person has to touch the ball to get you out. At least if they're ground balls or line drives, more than one player has to touch the ball to get the job done. And then you increase the chance that there may be an error.
And there's an error right there, and that's going to give Caravel the lead. It was a great sacrifice bunt laid down by Moxley. She was out at first, but then there was some confusion defensively for Smyrna as to who was supposed to rotate over and cover the bag at third. So the runner, Paige Richardson, kept on going. The throw was a little errant over there, and I think they caught the fielder off balance, and then the ball went into foul territory, and that allowed Paige Richardson to score the second run of the game.
And that is that aggressive base running that Caravel is so well known for. And they create havoc for the defense. When players look up and runners are running, it can get very confusing. And if it's a situation they're not used to being in, then that creates that confusion. And sometimes you can take advantage of that. Caravel just did that.
All right, the bases are now clear. Caravel regains the lead at 2-1, and now the DP, McIlvain, swings and misses. She's in the hole. 0-2. On deck is Layla Rock, and then it'll be back to the top of the order.
And McIlvain headed to Ursinus next year to continue her softball career.
Oh, and they call the outside pitch, and there's a strikeout for out number 2. Second strikeout of the game for Roscoe. And that brings up Layla Rock, the right fielder.
And here comes the walk-up music.
Oh, yeah, it's a little late. Bases are empty, 2 outs. There is a drive to left field, and that is going to be foul. Boy, Layla Rock was ready for that pitch. A little bit out front, though, and fouls it. We're in the bottom of the second inning here at Caravel Academy with the Buccaneers on top 2-1.
And we're still making our way through the Caravel lineup, so
yep,
they're trying to make adjustments.
Fly ball coming to us. And caught by the Smyrna right fielder, Ryan Durnall, to end the second inning. We'll go to the top of the third when we come back here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Eggspectation. and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality.
Third inning stretch for me, as we are located just beyond the right field fence here at Caravel Academy. And this is usually where we have our broadcasting location. Once again, on camera, Pat Gariantes, Jason Winchell producing for this evening. Shannon Timmons is providing color, one of the best in the business. She should know a lot about this game. She coached it. Always nice to have an expert next to you on the broadcast table.
And we are working on 9, 1, and 2 of the Smyrna lineup.
I think that pitch was just a tad low, so ball 1 on Ryan Durnall, the right fielder. She's leading off here, top of the third for the Eagles, and then we go to the top of the order. Alford bunt, that's a strike. 1-1 count on Durnall with Johnson on deck.
And that's the switch in the Smyrna lineup tonight from what we saw against Lake Forest. Durnall was the DP, and Loretta Price was out in the outfield, and those two have switched this evening for DP and right field positions.
Right. Correct. 2-1 count on Durnall. She's trying to get on base and set up the top of the order. That one's popped up and fouled back behind home plate. 2-2 count on Durnall. Smyrna with 2 hits in the game, 3 hits for Caravel. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Durnall. That's taken high, and the count runs full. Trying to get her to go for, I guess that was a rise ball. It certainly was up and out of the zone.
And interestingly enough, in the first inning, we had 2 ground outs to the second baseman. And that is a called third strike.
Yep.
Umpire's a little late with his
He
calls.
He is.
Sometimes this evening.
He caught me on the first one, so now I'm waiting. There's out number 1. That brings up Johnson, and she was caught looking back in the first inning.
But I was getting ready to say before he called her on the third strike, all these lefties in Smyrna's lineup, with Casey liking that curveball so much, that ball's going to trail in on them and could give them fits if they can't get their hands through to it. So we'll have to see if they make adjustments as the lineup rolls over and they get to see her a second time.
Well, she was out in front of that one. This time she gets the bat on the ball, left side, and the shortstop out there to make the play is Diomede. 2 outs, top of the third. That brings up Brantley. She grounded out to second back in the first inning.
And Diomede playing shortstop for Caravel through her career here, but I believe she's headed to the University of Delaware as an outfielder because she has great range and has wheels as well.
Sounds good.
Advantageous for Caravel's defense because she can cover a lot of ground at shortstop.
And she got out nicely into shallow left to make that play. There's another pop-up. This one coming out towards second. And a quick inning for the Caravel Buccaneers and pitcher Zenitis. 1-2-3 go the Eagles. And we head to the bottom of the third, keeping it right here as we have this matchup between number 4 Caravel, 1-1 record, and number 8 Smyrna, winners of 4 straight and a record of 4-2.
And coming into tonight, Smyrna had outscored their opponents 23-16 and Caravel 15-3 even in just those 2 games because they had that big Concord win to start off their season. But they're both producing runs, and we had this conversation a little bit before the game started at how Delmarva Christian is winning games but not necessarily producing a lot of runs. And it'll be interesting to see how some of we've seen a lot of 1-run games across the state. 5-4, 3-2, 1-0. So it'll be interesting to see as teams continue to work and continue to play, whether they start spreading those scores out or it's going to be one of those seasons where everything's pretty close.
And those are typical kind of softball games. And we have a 2-1 game here at Caravel. And again, it goes back to what you and I have talked about during our broadcast. This is a sport dominated by the girls in the circle.
It is typically, and early on in the season, usually the advantage goes to the pitchers. I say this all the time. They've been working with their pitching coaches. They're inside all winter throwing and perfecting their craft and spinning pitches, and the hitters haven't necessarily seen live pitching much coming into the beginning of the season. Maybe their last travel ball tournament in November or December, depending on where they travel in the country, but definite advantage to the pitchers early on in the season typically is what you'll see in high school softball.
All right, we're just about ready to start the bottom of the third. Got a little bit of work done. I think it was the catcher back there, Weissenberger. Addison had to get her equipment squared away. Now we're ready to go. Top of the order, Kendall Brown, who popped up to shortstop, her first at bat. And she takes outside for a ball.
We were talking about all that mother-daughter history. Nikki Shirey, who's the coach of Smyrna, played with Addison's mom on the 93 state tournament team, along with Lindsay Roscoe's mom. So it's come full circle for a lot of them to see the daughters on the field playing tonight.
And the parents and the grandparents usually travel well to all these games. We're seeing a lot of Smyrna fans just to our right out here beyond the center field fence. One of them out here was Clay Lloyd, who came over to say hi to us earlier. Shot deflected at third, picked up by short, no play. And on to lead off, here's Kendall Brown. What do you think there, Coach? Single or error?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, because it was deflected.
It is deflected, and it's taken her to the hole, so that is a tough call.
We're going hit. So Brown on first to lead off here in the bottom of the third for Caravel. That brings up Diamidi. She grounded out. Oh, no, so I think she put a bunt down and was thrown out by the third baseman, Shirey, last time. There's a drive, straightaway center. Calling for it is Brantley. She makes the catch. No advance by the runner, or even though the ball was overthrown. Now she's going to make a try, and there wasn't anybody there. She makes it. So aggressive base running by Caravel has really gotten them the lead in this game so far.
It has, and it's a nice heads-up play by her to notice that there's really no coverage there, and she has the opportunity to take 60 feet. Certainly putting her in scoring position. I'm sure Coach Johnson's happy about that.
Yeah. Up to bat now is Grygo, who tripled in the right center gap and scored the first run of the game in the first inning. And she drives one down the left field line. Oh, a shoestring catch attempt not made. Runner will score, and Grygo's headed to third base again. Now they're going to wave her home, and she stops and goes back to third base. 2 triples for Grygo.
And Haley Grygo is such a worker. We saw it last year throughout the season. She is just calm, cool, and collected most of the time and works and works and works to perfect her game and to be the person that can contribute to her team when they need her. And she has certainly done that tonight. 3-1
ball game now. Grygo at third with 1 out. And I would think if you're Smyrna and you're Lindsay Roscoe, you got to kind of nibble and work around Holdsworth a little bit. She burnt you with a single and an RBI back in the first. There's a high pop-up. Right field calling for it. Makes the catch. Tagging. Grygo throws a little offline, and she will score easily. And 2 RBIs now for Holdsworth.
And in that situation, sometimes you'll see coaches intentionally walk those kinds of hitters just so that situation does not occur, but they took a chance. And it paid off for Caravel.
Sure did. So Caravel now on top 4-1. 2 outs, bases clean. Brooklyn Richardson, who struck out back in the first. Swings and misses over top of that pitch.
And this is the second time through for this part of the Caravel lineup, seeing Lindsay Roscoe. We ask as coaches, you know, if you weren't successful the first time, make some sort of adjustment, do it different in the next attempt. to see if you can be successful at the plate.
Pitch misses outside. Ball and a strike to Brooklyn. Nice piece of hitting, too, by Brooke Holdsworth. Going up there, knows that all she has to do with less than 2 outs is drive the ball deep somewhere to get Grygo home. She did just that.
Absolutely.
That one low for a ball. 2-1 count to Brooklyn Richardson.
And just so happens she gets it into right field, which is the furthest point away from that runner to score.
Right. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Popped it up. Right side, foul territory, and out of play. 2-2 count now on Brooklyn Richardson with 2 outs. Base is empty here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Once again, earlier today, top-ranked Delmarva Christian with an 8-0 shutout win over Delmar. They're now 7-0. And Lake Forest with an easy win over Dover. They improved to 5-1. Full count now. Brooklyn's sister Paige is on deck. She's singled and scored in the 2nd inning.
They have Leah Richardson on their roster as well. Does a lot of running for Coach Johnson.
Ground ball right back to the pitcher. She knocked it down. Roscoe throws to first, and they get her by stride to end the 3rd inning. We are through 3 here at Caravel Academy. The Buccaneers lead Smyrna 4-1 on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Sodell Concepts. Today we're at Thompson Island Brewing Company in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Come check us out. Located in the Rehoboth Gateway next to Blue Coast Rehoboth, Thompson Island will follow the Sodell tradition of serving beautiful, simple food that will pair perfectly with our fresh homemade beer. Thompson Island is the perfect place to have dinner with your family, enjoy happy hour with friends at the bar, or spend a day in the beer garden playing bocce ball and ping pong. Thompson Island Brewing Company in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, open 7 days a week. See you soon. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Sodell Concepts.
We're back here to start the 4th inning here at Caravel Academy with the Buccaneers on top 4-1. And we just got some news from Pat Gariantes, our camera operator, that Cesar Rodney lost to Middletown today. We had the Riders ranked in our latest top 10 at number 7. They had a 4-1 record, so they're now 4-2. Cavaliers improved to 4-1, but apparently, and we don't want to speculate because we don't know for sure, but apparently some type of injury maybe to Peyton Shields, the pitcher, and we hope she's okay.
Absolutely. She's a senior for Cesar Rodney, and she's held down the fort for Cesar Rodney in the circle for the past couple of years. Headed off to Connecticut to play her college career.
Megan Shirey leads off, drives one deep center and tracking it nicely. No, she dropped the ball. I thought she had it. She did have it for a second. Brown did. And then she dropped it as she was approaching the fence. So Shirey again with another big hit for Smyrna, trying to get them back in the ball game. She's at second base for McCutcheon. McCutcheon singled and scored Smyrna's only run in the 2nd inning. That was a great defensive effort, so we got to give her a clean double on that.
And it was tough for us to see as she was fading here to the fence with the windscreen on exactly what happened to that ball. It looked like she had it in her glove, and as she approached the fence, maybe she looked up for a split second and just couldn't hang on to it.
It would have been a fantastic running catch. I mean, she was on a dead sprint. Ball 1 to McCutcheon, who once again singled and scored Smyrna's only run. Next time I'll make sure I stand up. Maybe I could have seen that. And we are on a little rise of a hill here, which helps us to get a good view of everything in the infield. About the only place we can't get a good look would be from right field line all the way around to about right center if the outfielder goes to the fence. Swing and a miss. 1-1 to McCutcheon.
Tough spot here for pitcher Zenitis, for Caravel with Shirey on second, and McCutcheon just seeing the ball so well the past couple of games. She's been really big for Smyrna's offense.
She took that one high for ball 2, 2-1 count to McCutcheon. Shirey at second base. Duca on deck. That misses outside, 3-1 count. And as we talked about when Holdsworth was up to bat with Roscoe maybe trying to be a little careful with her, I think maybe that's the case here with Zenitis.
I do as well. Yeah. I think they're just kind of playing around the corner, seeing if she'll swing through something.
And she did. She swung at looked like a ball high. And actually that's a strikeout. So one of those previous pitches, I guess, was called a strike. I didn't see that. And that's out number 1. That brings up Jonna Duca, the second baseman, who singled.
It's a big strikeout for Caravel right now with a runner in scoring position as well.
And the slapper takes a called strike. Yeah, it certainly was. Well, I'm watching this home plate umpire, and I see him. It's a delayed a lot of time when he brings that hand up. But
it is. It takes him a little while to get the call. And so from our position here, it's hard to tell if he's going to ring them up or not.
I was pretty sure I only saw 3 balls and a strike on McCutcheon.
When the board did have 3-2.
Yeah.
That board.
Oh.
I don't know if it was obviously it might have been correct. But I was with you. I had 3-1.
And Duca has taken 2 strikes, called strikes. Unfortunately, with Duca's history, she tends to put the ball on the left side of the field, which should be in front of Shirey.
She reached for that when it just fouled it off. It's a defensive swing there. Count holds at a ball and 2 strikes.
So it may be hard for Shirey to advance if the ball does go to the left side. Caravel defense may be able to hold her and get an out, which would be the optimum situation. But I will say, Duca's a scrappy hitter. She finds ways to put the ball in play, and she fights in the box and tries to do her job for her team.
Holdsworth went out and had something to say with Zenitis. Let's see what happens here. They go low and outside. And again, I wait for this umpire. He called that a ball, 2-2. But then he took his mask off and he walked over to the side. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Confused me. She gets it down, left side, third baseman over to first. She gets her out. She advances the runner, Shirey, over to third, but now 2 outs. And that brings up Donovan, the shortstop. Smyrna trying to get another run on the board here, trailing 4-1 here, top of the 4th. Coach Shirey now having a conversation with Donovan as to what she would like her to do here.
And I'm guessing with the 4-1 lead, Grygo wasn't really worried about holding Shirey. She didn't give her a second look before she made that play to first base. So a little comfortable with the lead maybe.
Yeah. And with Duca running, she really didn't have a time to hesitate at all.
She doesn't. She's quick.
Donovan takes a called strike. She struck out looking back in the second inning, 0 for 1. That one a little high and inside for a ball. 1-1 count, 2 outs here, top of the 4th inning. As we are halfway through this game. Ooh, drive to left field. That is well hit. Going back on the run and making the over-the-shoulder catch. The left fielder, Paige Richardson, for the final out here in the top of the 4th. We keep it right here with Caravel holding on to that 4-1 lead. And well hit ball there. But, again, a good play by the left fielder, Paige Richardson.
Yeah, the outfield here at Caravel seems to read the ball really well. They get a good jump on the ball. Depending on how close they are to the fence, sometimes that can be an issue for some players, picking up the fence and knowing where that is. But great plays by Caravel's outfield.
All right, leading off here in the bottom of the fourth for the home team will be Paige Richardson, followed by Moxley and McElvain, as they are down in the bottom part of their order. Paige Richardson singled and scored back in the second inning. Moxley had a sacrifice bunt, and McElvain struck out looking.
And we saw Lindsey Roscoe in between innings here, off to the side, throwing a little bit with her catcher in the bullpen after she had that inning where Caravel made some nice adjustments on her pitches and scored those 2 runs. So we'll see if she comes back and settles in a little bit. Sometimes, you know, pitchers just have to throw a little bit more to get comfortable or work on a spin in between the innings to come back and be a little more effective in the next half of the inning.
Well, we'll see how it transpires here as we are in the bottom of the fourth inning. And the fourth-ranked Caravel Buccaneers holding on to a 4-1 advantage. Delmarva Christian, the top-ranked team in our poll, winning earlier today over Delmar 8-0. Middletown knocking off Cesar Rodney today. The Cavaliers making a case to get into the top 10. Lake Forest also won, as the Spartans are now 5-1. The Cavaliers 4-1. Pop-up, right side, and that's going to be out of play. There's a strike on Paige Richardson. Thursday we'll have more high school softball for you. It'll be the Benny Mitchell production, as we are down in calm, not windy, Lewis, Delaware at Cape Henlopen High. We'll have the Vikings and the Woodbridge Blue Raiders. There's a drive, high fly ball, deep center, back on the track, making the catch for out number 1 is Michaela Brantley. Shannon, was that a snicker that I heard out of you?
Yes, after spending 6 seasons on that field in Lewis, Delaware, I can tell you the wind blows every single day. It can be beautiful in the morning at about 2 o'clock before you head to practice or you head out to pregame.
There's another fly ball, shallow center. Brantley makes the second put out of the inning. Yeah, I've done games from Cape Henlopen last year. I think I learned my lesson.
You better pack your whole closet if you're going to Cape, because you never know.
I might be wearing long johns and like 4 layers up top. And I mean, I can always take layers off.
It's a windy place.
Yeah. 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth. That brings up McElvain, the designated player. She struck out looking back in the second inning. Fouls that one back.
We would always feel so bad for teams that would come from the western side of the state and drop 20 degrees and they'd get to Cape in short sleeves and be freezing because they weren't expecting it to be cold at the beach.
See, that happened to me last year. It was a game in, I think, early May. I left the house, it was 80. I got down there, it was upper 50s with wind chills in the 40s.
Does not surprise me.
No, it's like it was crazy. That's a ball outside. 1-1 count on McElvain. We're in the bottom of the fourth here. Caravel on top 4-1.
McElvain knows that win too. She spent a year over at Sussex Academy, so.
Well, there's a drive. That one's deep.
That is deep.
And that is off the top of the fence. She's going to motor into second, and she has a stand-up double. Well, they're putting the ball in the air this inning.
It is, and that's a tough read for those outfielders.
So a 2-out double for McElvain. That brings up the bottom of the order and Layla Rock. And she flied out to right field back in the second. Yeah, that one just split the left and center fielders. And that was inches, I think, from going out of here. There's another fly ball. That one's deep left. And that one is taken care of by Kirsten Johnson, and that will end the fourth inning. We're through 4. We're going to the top of the 5th, and we'll do that when we come back on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
I always passed by Ferris on Kirkwood Highway, so I knew that they existed. We stopped in the showroom. We just clicked, like from day one. They did a total kitchen renovation for us. Ferris was so organized. They were on top of everything from day one. Always here when they said they would be, always on time, kept to the schedule. The level of comfort speaking to everyone that works at Ferris, they were just super friendly, easy to talk to. It was like they were friends, not, people coming to work on our kitchen. The room is totally transformed from what it used to look like. To have all this seating now and the big table, the bench seats, it's great. I love coming home and just walking through the laundry room into the kitchen every day. It was just a great experience. We love Ferris. I would always...
Grygo might be a player of a game.
Most of my 43 years of broadcasting was done on radio. So we're at the top of the hour right now. It's 8 o'clock straight up, and it's time for the legal ID. I see, I'm ready for the radio ease. We still have a little bit of blue sky off to the west here at Caravel Academy. That won't last for long. And here we are in the top of the 5th inning, and Smyrna leading off at the bottom of the order. It's Loretta Price, the DP, the pitcher Roscoe, and the right fielder Durnall. First pitch is a ball. Smyrna so far with 3 hits in the ball game, 1 run off of Zenitis. I didn't see him motion. Let me check the scoreboard. It's ball 2.
I know, he's not making it easy this evening.
No.
I keep looking at the board, too, just to make sure.
2-0 pitch from Zenitis. And that's high and out of the zone, so she's going 3-0 here on Price.
She had done such a good job early on in the game getting ahead of the hitters. We talked about that for both pitchers, actually, and then they both have lost a little bit of that as we've gone into the later innings. So we'll have to see if they can recover from that and be a little more efficient.
And that's high, up around the chin. A little chin music, and that's a 4-pitch walk for Price. First walk of the ball game by either pitcher, and that brings up the pitcher for Smyrna, Lindsay Roscoe. She grounded out to third. Back in the 2nd inning, her only at bat, 0 for 1. Chance to help her cause here.
It's great to see out of both pitchers just 1 walk so far in the game.
Oh, there's a steal attempt. Down and under the tag, and a stolen base for Price. First stolen base of the game. Yeah, both these pitchers have been efficient, no doubt. A ball and no strikes on Roscoe. Zenitis, the delivery. There's a foul ball out of play. Ball and a strike. Durnall's on deck. And then the top of the order if Smyrna can get there.
It's interesting to note that out of both pitchers, we haven't seen the changeup. We
No.
saw Roscoe use it against Lake Forest and was very effective. Zenitis has one too. It's very interesting to see that they have not gone to a changeup.
Good play by Diomede as she checked the runner, went to first, got the out, but still Price's speed allows her to move up to third base with 1 out. And when you talked about it earlier, when there was a play that went to the third baseman, Grygo. When you have a 3-run lead, you really don't care too much about that runner to get the out.
Early on in the season, I expect fielders to check those runners because that's something that we coach and you'll need later on in the season. But I guess they feel comfortable with that lead, so they're not terribly worried about it.
Okay, that brings up the number 9 hitter, Durnall, the right fielder. Bunt attempt goes foul. She struck out on a full count pitch in her only at bat. in the third inning. So with one out, Price over to third. And now a meeting at the mound with head coach Randy Johnson and his infielder and battery. Kirsten Johnson, the left fielder, leadoff batter, she would be on deck. I think they're discussing what they want to do here in case a bunt does go down and the runner breaks for home, right?
Yeah, and I think he just wants to make sure they're all clear on their assignments and what positions they're supposed to cover, so there's no miscommunication or confusion.
Umpires now stepping in, trying to speed things up. The softball game has so many different rules from baseball, but how about all the changes in Major League Baseball this year to speed the game up? Oh my goodness!
Well, and they've done the pitch count in college at softball as well. They have 10 seconds to get a pitch off now in college softball, so that's
right.
Speeding this game up even more.
And I've seen it this year, witnessed it. I mean,
and in
live.
baseball for sure.
Yeah. That was a ball, so we've got a 1-1 count on Durnall. Got the bunt down, and it went fair. They get the out at first, and they hold Price to third base. That's a good play defensively by the Bucks.
Great play by Haley Grygo at third.
That brings up, excuse me, the leadoff batter, Johnson. She's 0 for 2, struck out and flied out to shortstop into shallow left.
It's nice to see Grygo having such a great game tonight. She struggled a little bit in the Rising Sun game and got a little frustrated with herself, you could see.
There's a slap line drive right down the line for a base hit. Smyrna gets another run. She's going to try to take second.
For two.
She's safe. I thought maybe they got her there on the backhanded tag attempt. So Johnson with her first hit of the game, and this is what she did against Lake Forest. She got out. She was retired her first 2 at-bats, and then she came alive.
Yeah, so that just goes to prove kids are making adjustments as they're seeing more pitches and having more at-bats, and that's all you can ask them to do as a coach is to get in there and, again, try something different. If what you're doing isn't working, you have to figure out a way to do it differently. And certainly Kirsten Johnson seems to be a player who's able to do that. And aggressive base running. That's what it comes down to sometimes, to be able to put your team in a position to score runs and get back in a game.
Brantley takes a ball outside. 2 outs and a runner at second. Smyrna now trailing just 4-2 here in the top of the 5th. Brantley back in the box. Takes a pitch high, 2-0. Now all of a sudden, especially in this inning, I've noticed that Zanitis is a little bit high in the zone.
She has been consistently high. And I don't know if that's just a pitch they're trying to see if Smyrna batters will chase at this point, or if she's just losing a little bit of mechanics and kind of hanging them up high. So we'll have to see what adjustments she makes.
There's like a little humpback liner to second, play at first. And they got her on a bang-bang play to end the top of the 5th. So Smyrna gets a run on a couple of hits. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Caravel out on top by a score of 4-2 as we keep it right here. And we will step aside, though. We'll just let the camera do your viewing, and we're going to take a little audio break. All right, we're ready to roll here in the bottom of the 5th inning from Caravel Academy. Caravel with a 4-2 lead over Smyrna. And it's the top of the order with Kendall Brown, who's made a couple of nice plays out there in center field today. Takes high and outside, ball 1. Brown has singled and scored a run. She's 1 for 2 today.
And during the break, we were talking about Salisbury, and there's such a connection here with both of these teams to Salisbury. Savannah Sheets and Natalie Paoli from Caravel playing at Salisbury, Abby Mace from Smyrna playing at Salisbury, and Morgan Moxley headed to Salisbury next year. So that's a big draw and a great school, good softball program.
Yeah, it's good to see, especially when you lost Wesley College a few years back. So now you still have some other outlets for Delaware high school town to go to, like Salisbury, not that far away. Some of these southeastern Pennsylvania schools, there's a called strike. And, of course, you have Del Tech, Wilmington University,
And
Goldie Beacom.
all successful programs
Right.
for Delaware kids to play in.
Yeah.
And pursue their college dream of playing softball and get a great education.
Nice pickup by Shirey. That was a hot shot right down to her on two bounces. You don't call that the hot corner for no reason. First out of the inning, that brings up the shortstop, Diomede, who is grounded out to third and flied out to center field, and that was a deep one. Yeah, it's great. Of course, we didn't even bring up University of Delaware and Delaware State University. So, yeah, there's a lot of places for local talent to continue playing at the next level. And then some girls are fortunate enough to be able to get away from Delaware a little bit. It's a called strike on Diomede.
So Roscoe working back towards getting ahead of hitters.
Yeah, she missed low there. 1-1 count on Diomede. And Diomede was retired by Shirey back in the first inning on a close play, and then, like I said, flied to deep center. She takes that one low, and she's now ahead in the count 2-1.
And Diomede's like a triple threat. She can bunt for a single. She can go deep, and she's so fast when she gets on. So definitely offers a lot of versatility in the Caravel lineup. Gives Coach Johnson options when she's at the plate. And has a great eye for the strike zone.
She certainly does, because after being in the hole 0-1, it's now 3-1 to her. Out in front of that pitch and fouls it. So the count runs full on Diomede with Grygo on deck, and Grygo has been dangerous this game. 2 triples.
I told you she was working off a tee on her swing after she was unhappy with her performance against Rising Sun. Must have worked.
Yeah, I would say. Pop up. She swung at a high pitch, and the catcher could not make the play. Tough play. She had to go back to the backstop and was almost out of play.
And Weisenberger behind the plate, just a freshman.
Yeah, the battery, both freshmen.
Yeah.
Roscoe, and then they have another pitcher. She's another freshman, Caitlin Slaney.
Promising for the future of Smyrna softball for sure.
Out in front again was Diomede and fouls it off. Right in front of the dugout of the Smyrna Eagles. One out here in the bottom of the 5th. Caravel on top 4-2. Glenn Fraser alongside Shannon Timmons. Worked together in state championship field hockey, and now our second softball game. And that's low. She draws a walk. Good eye by Diomede. And here we, lo and behold, didn't realize we only live about probably 10 miles from each other.
If that. If that. That makes us neighbors by Delaware standards.
Below the ditch, as Benny Mitchell likes to say. Here's a threat for a stolen base here.
And that's Roscoe's first walk of the night as well. So
Yeah.
we're just seeing a lot of control by both pitchers tonight, which is excellent.
Well, you think Grygo?
Absolutely.
Oh boy. I think she
She's
took
got
off
wheels.
a little early. She timed it perfectly then. I think she might have been halfway down the base before the ball even got to the catcher.
She's fast, Glenn. And
So-
I believe that was a strike to the batter.
Yeah, wondering if Grygo, who's had the hot bat, let me take one pitch and let Veronica get down there to second base, which she did. That was kind of her.
And Haley's had 2 triples tonight, but I also don't put it past her to lay a bunt down.
Well, let's see what happens. Oh, there's a changeup. Diomede goes on it. And I don't know, did that ball just fly out of her hand when
It
she
did.
went
It
to
looked
throw
like
it?
it just flipped right out the back of her hand, like she just lost her grip.
Wow, so that's another stolen base. Oh. So we might have an interference play here. Let's see. Maybe not. I think our cameraman, Pat Carriantes, is saying, did it hit off the back of the helmet of the batter? So Diomede standing down to third. She has 2 stolen bases. She's there with 1 out. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Grygo. She lays off. Count runs 2-2. And another dangerous batter on deck, the cleanup batter, the catcher, Brooke Holdsworth.
And interesting to see Roscoe just go to that changeup here in the 5th inning when she was so successful with it against Lake Forest.
Oh, there's a drive.
That's a
She was
shot.
all over that one. And that is out of here.
Gone. Haley Grygo, 2 triples and a home run.
How about that?
What a night for her.
And that extends the lead out to 6-2 for the Buccaneers. 3 RBIs. She scored 3 runs. Now with 1 out, that brings up Brooke Holdsworth. Base is clean. 6-2 lead for the home team Buccaneers as the infielders will gather in the circle. And giving a little encouragement to their young freshman pitcher, Lindsay Roscoe. Now here's another batter she's got to be really careful with.
Well, the good part for the Smyrna defense is no one's on.
Yeah.
Brooks always a threat.
Takes a strike.
And good to see the freshman Roscoe going at a hitter with the quality of Brooke Holdsworth, who can do damage at any given time. So it's nice to see her go after her.
I think she took something off of that one.
I
and,
agree.
Yeah, Brooke was out in front, fouled it back behind the plate. So
We're
she's
starting
got
to-
her in the hole 0-2
And
here.
we're starting to see that changeup coming in now from Lindsay Roscoe. Throw the timing off of the hitters where they have to adjust and keep their hands back to be able to put that ball in play somewhere.
Ground ball right back to the pitcher. Throw over to first, and she retires Holdsworth for the 2nd out of the inning.
We're starting to see Roscoe keep the ball up in the zone a little bit consistently too, where early in the game everything was low, and those Caravel hitters were able to capitalize on that. So she's made some adjustments as a pitcher as she's seeing them through the lineup 2 and 3 times now.
2 outs now here in the bottom of the 5th. 6-2 Caravel lead. And up to bat is Brooklyn Richardson. Swing and a miss. She's 0 for 2 in the game. Grounded out to the pitcher and struck out in the 1st. That was high for a ball. 1-1 count.
And credit to Roscoe, after she had that difficult 3rd inning with the Caravel lineup, she came over here on the side, she worked on some pitches, and she's been able to come back in and get ahead of those hitters again.
That's fouled back and out of play. So a ball and 2 strikes as Roscoe gets ahead of Brooklyn Richardson here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And I think that's important for her as such a young pitcher as a freshman coming in to a big game like tonight, playing against the defending state champs. That's critical for her to get ahead mentally and physically, where she's not throwing as many pitches, but also mentally to have the freedom to kind of nibble around the zone a little bit and see what she can get them to chase or what she can get called.
Again, coming into the season, it was expected that Simone Edge would be the starting pitcher for Smyrna, but again, more knee problems. So Coach Shirey has had to go with the 2 freshmen who've done a pretty good job so far in the young season, as Smyrna's off to a 4-2 start.
And all you can ask from your pitchers is that they keep you in a game. As long as they're not walking batters.
That one is skied high. Texas legger Duca ranges out into right field. And the second baseman makes the put out for the final out here in the bottom of the 5th. We go to the 6th inning with the Caravel Buccaneers on top of Smyrna 6-2 on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
But have you tried Premier? Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you.
We are through 5 innings here at Caravel Academy. We're going to the top of the 6th now. Smyrna trailing 6-2. Megan Shirey will lead off. McCutcheon on deck and Duca in the hall, and this is the meat of the order. This is a place where Smyrna can make some noise and try to get back in the ball game.
Tough part of the lineup for Caravel. They were successful early on in keeping them off the base path, but hitters have made some adjustments, and they've been able to get the ball in play. Megan Shirey with a nice hit her last at-bat.
Yep, she's 1 for 2 tonight.
Way out here to center field.
Yeah. Took a ball. 1-0 count. Tonight is ready. And there's a ground ball to short. Over to first and just got her by a stride. Good play by Diomede. 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. It brings up McCutcheon. She's 1 for 2. Singled and scored one of Smyrna's 2 runs.
She's worked deep in the count, too, in her 2 at-bats this evening. So we'll see if she gets something she wants to jump on right away or she's going to make Zenitis work.
Takes, and it's a ball. She struck out on a full count pitch last inning. It looked like a little high, but she went up and tried to get it. Zenitis kept that one lower in the zone. That's fouled off. One on McCutcheon. Duca on deck. Once again, Thursday night we'll have more high school softball action for you. It'll be a Henlopen matchup as Woodbridge travels to Cape Henlopen. Ground ball right back through the middle. Second baseman ranges over and makes the play over to first. Moxley to Brooklyn Richardson, 2 gone here in the top of the 6th.
And just as we ended that last inning, I was starting to say the same thing about the Smyrna team. It's pitchers have to understand they have 7 people standing behind them. They don't have to do all the work themselves. And both of these pitchers, as they've gone on into the game and batters have made adjustments, have put put the ball in play. We've only seen 2 walks tonight, so they're doing their job out of the circle and letting their defense work for them.
And both of those walks just came in the last inning. Duca singled, scored a run. Or excuse me, she singled, did not score a run, and slapped out to the third baseman on a close play. 1 for 2 in the game. And she's ahead in the count, 2-0. Took one low, took one high. Odds are this one's going to be right down the middle. Pops it up, foul ball off the fencing. Two balls and a strike, Zanitis on the rubber. Ground ball, second base. Over to first, got her. 1-2-3 inning for Zanitis. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th, keeping it right here, and a 4-run lead for Caravel.
And out of the 2 games that we've done for Smyrna so far this season, that's the first time I've seen Duca put the ball on the right side of the field.
Yeah, you're right.
With
Good
that,
call.
with that slap, she tends to get everything onto the left side of the field, and you just saw she's fast.
Mm-hmm. Bottom of the 6th coming up for Caravel. It'll be Paige Richardson, Morgan Moxley, and Miranda McIlvain, the DP. So the bottom part of the order, Paige Richardson is 1 for 2 in the game. She singled and scored a run. Moxley officially 0 for 1. She had a sac bunt. McIlvain is 1 for 2. She had a double. And those are the 3 batters that will face the pitcher, Lindsay Roscoe.
And these 3 have hit the ball deep. Fortunately, Smyrna's center fielder was able to get 2 of them out back-to-back in the 4th inning. So we'll see if they make any adjustments and can find the gaps at these at-bats.
This part of the order, too, I mean, you talk about them sending the ball deep to the outfield. It's the only time in the game that Caravel did not score a run. They got a run in the 1st, a run in the 2nd. They got 2 in the 3rd, failed to score in the 4th, and scored 2 last inning.
And they had Miranda McIlvain on after her deep shot as a double, but
right.
couldn't advance her and get her in.
Ooh, there's a shot again, deep left field, and that is going to bounce up against the wall. That's going to be a stand-up double for Paige Richardson, her 2nd hit of the game. Now Caravel threatening again here in the home half of the 6th with nobody out, and Paige Richardson at second base. Brings up Moxley, 0 for 1.
But had that deep fly ball to center field.
Right. Well, let's see what they have her do here. Showing bunt, she gets it down to third base line, fielded by Shirey, just gets her out, moves the runner over. Well executed.
Great sac bunt by Morgan Moxley to move that runner 60 feet closer to scoring for Caravel.
It's her 2nd sac bunt of the game. The one she had her first at bat back in the 2nd inning, I think I remember that's when they got her out at first, but the runner moved, advanced down to 3rd, and they had that errant throw, and she ended up scoring.
They did. Paige Richardson was on ahead of her in that inning as well.
Well, here's McIlvain, I believe. Let's see. Coach Randy Johnson is talking things over with the batter. No, it's Katrina Barron. Number 18 is batting. She lays down a bunt, fouls it off back behind the home plate. So the runner was breaking. I think they were trying a little suicide squeeze.
And when you're ahead in a game like this early on in the season, it is a good time to take a chance and see what some of your other players can do at the plate. Good time to take a chance and try the suicide squeeze. No harm, no foul if you don't get the play executed, but players need to know the situations that can happen, and they need to learn how to execute.
0-2 now, swinging away and slaps it. She's going to get the run
Nice
home
slap
anyhow.
up the middle.
Yeah, the run scores and Barron gets a single. Wow.
Great execution by Katrina Barron.
And that's when you go back to the dugout after the inning and Coach says, that's a nice job. And she says, well, Coach, I really didn't want to bunt. I wanted to hit away.
Since they scored the runner, he's probably going to be okay with that.
Hey, yeah. A perfectly placed slap hit right up the middle. Oh, and then a drive just fouled down the third base line. Layla Rock up. She's flied out to deep right and to deep left. Kendall Brown's on deck. Just one out here in the bottom of the sixth. Pitch is low and in the dirt.
I'm going to guess that was an attempt at a changeup just by her delivery. And she's upset with herself, obviously, for not getting that pitch to work, but just needs to keep working.
Ball and a strike. That one's high, 2-1. Caravel on top now 7-2 in this ball game. Looking for a win number 2 on the season. Only played 2 games at this point. Pop up. And that is back and out. No, the catcher makes the catch. I thought maybe that was going to get out of play. Good job that time by Addison Weissenberger. Out number 2.
And a nice adjustment by her, too. She had another play that was possible earlier in the game and didn't quite get to it, so she made an adjustment back there and able to get up and out of there and get to that to make an out for her team.
Yep, good play. Brings up Kendall Brown, the leadoff batter. She's 1 for 3, and she swings at the first pitch and drives it right up the middle for her second hit of the night. And the hits keep on coming for the Buccaneers.
Important here that Lindsay Roscoe just keeps trying to attack the zone and keeps working. It's easy to get frustrated with yourself.
There's a shot going out to center, and moving up is Brantley to make the put out in the final out here in the 6th. Well, Smyrna's last opportunity is coming up. They're down by 5, 7-2, and we'll be back to see what the Eagles do after this on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports. We're down to our final opportunity for the Smyrna Eagles, trailing 7-2 here in the top of the 7th inning. And the Eagles will bring up Donovan. The scheduled players to bat will be shortstop Donovan, the DP Price, and the pitcher Roscoe. Donovan is up to bat. She takes low for a ball here in the top of the 7th. Shortstop is 0 for 2 in the game. Takes that for ball 2.
And interesting in the 6th, Caravel was a 1-2-3 inning for them, but Casey fell behind each batter, as she has just done with Lacey Donovan as well.
Okay, she's gone as far as she can go here. It's 3-0. Both pitchers have only thrown or issued 1 walk in the game. So they've been very effective, both of them. That one's right down midway. 3-1 count to Donovan. And that pitch is outside. Second walk of the game issued by Zanitis, and Smyrna gets a leadoff runner aboard here in the top of the 7th for the DP, Loretta Price.
And she was the other walk that was issued last inning. I'm sorry, in the 5th inning.
Right, and she also had a stolen base.
And scored.
Mm-hmm. Called strike. I talked about more high school softball coming up Thursday afternoon right here on Delaware Live. We have a doubleheader tomorrow. College softball. Goldie Beacom will be featured. There's a swing and a miss, strike 2. First game at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
It'll be interesting to see if Donovan takes off on this pitch.
Swing and a miss on a low pitch. Catcher came up with it. And there's out number 1 here in the top of the 7th. That brings up Roscoe, the pitcher.
Oftentimes, coaches will send that runner, try and pick up 60 feet.
Right. Roscoe has grounded out both at bats, 1 to third, 1 to short. So that tells you she's got the timing down. Takes high and outside for ball 1. On deck, the right fielder, Durnall. There's a ground ball left side. That's foul. And a 1-1 count on Lindsay Roscoe.
She was in this exact situation in her last at-bat in the 5th inning. Ground out 6-3 to the shortstop.
Zanitis checks the wristband for the pitch selection. Swing right through it. A ball and 2 strikes on Roscoe. Smyrna came up here tonight hoping to extend their winning streak to 5. Right now it's looking a little bleak as they trail by 5. 1 out, a runner on here on the top of the 7th. That pitch is outside, ball 2, 2-2 count.
And hopefully Lindsay's in there just thinking, let's put the ball in play. At this point of the game, they need base runners if they're going to close this gap.
Ground ball, right side. Second baseman charges, flips to first for the out. The runner, Donovan moves up to second base. 2 outs now, Smyrna down to their final out. Durnall, the right fielder, coming up. She's 0 for 2 today. Trying to get Smyrna to their leadoff batter. There's a called strike. Johnson on deck. Should Durnall extend this inning? Takes that pitch. 1-1 count.
We'll see how efficient Casey Zanitis tries to be here.
She steps on the rubber and the delivery. Turnall checked her swing, and that's ball 2. She's going a little deep in the count here in this inning as well. Of course, Smyrna probably down to their last inning, being a little more selective at the plate.
I would agree.
That one's fouled straight back to 2-2 count, and the Eagles now down to their final strike. Zonitis stretches out a little bit before she sets on the rubber. And there's a swing and a miss to end the ball game. Smyrna got one runner here in the top of the 7th on a walk. They leave one, and we have come to the completion of the ball game as the two teams will shake hands at home plate. The final score 7-2 in favor of Caravel. We'll be right back after these messages on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality.
Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Casty Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life. Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412. Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Casty Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life. Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412. Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Cassidy Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life. Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness.
Back here at Caravel Academy, and joined now by one of the Smyrna Eagles, Michaela Brantley, the center fielder, stepping up to the plate for us, so to speak, as we have her now here on the postgame show. Tough loss for you guys, but you know, Caravel has a very good program, and your guys pretty much kind of young, especially in the circle. So talk about the performance of your team tonight.
I think we came out from that first inning and we came out ready to fight them, but we knew they were a great team and we knew what we were going up against coming here to Caravel. We love playing under the lights, playing here all the time. We knew that they were going to be a battle, and I think that they were just the better team today.
You got a little bit of action in the outfield tonight. I know usually you like that, right?
I do. I love that.
All right. Any questions from you, Coach?
Yeah, just, you know, it's really impressive to see you guys rally behind this freshman pitcher, and if you can just talk about a little bit what Lindsay's been able to step up and do since the injury to Simone Edge.
We love having having a staff this year. I think last year we definitely didn't have that staff. So this year we're more comfortable we have Lindsay and we have Kate Slaney, and I think Lindsay's definitely matured as a pitcher since the beginning of this season, and she's been able to come out and support us in this big game against Caravel and our big games coming up the rest of the season. and we know we have Kate if anything happens, and I think that she's doing great so far, and I think if our defense can just support her, then playing a great game.
Michaela Brantley, thanks for stopping by and chatting with us.
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, now we're going to switch gears and bring a couple of Buccaneers in. And the first one we're going to get is Morgan Moxley, the senior. Morgan, you girls you've only played 2 games, so you're playing a team that had 6 games under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you were itching to get out there and play a ball game. It just hasn't been too much action for you ladies.
Yeah, we were just ready to come together as a team and make the plays and execute what we've been working on in practice.
Talk about execution. This girl was on it tonight, wasn't she?
Yeah, 2 sack bunts. So talk to us what your preparation was like after struggling a little bit with Rising Sun. I know you guys struggled to get the bunts down. So what did Coach Johnson give you in the past couple days to help you get prepared for that?
Yeah, we were on the machine every day just trying to get those bunts down and live in practice, just doing anything to move our runners over to help our team.
Well, you certainly did a great job of that tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah, you
Thank
sure
you.
did. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming out and chatting with us. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And now our final player. I believe this might be our player of the game, is it
I
not?
think so.
This is Haley Grygo. And Haley, there you go. Are we all squared away there?
Yes.
Well, let's see. This lady here just, let's see, a triple and then another triple and then a home run. Heck of a night.
Thank you.
Scored 3 runs.
You
Thank
knock
you.
in 3 runs. Now, Coach Shannon Timmons here told us that after that Rising Sun game, you went right to work in the batting cage.
Yes,
It
yes, I
worked.
did.
It
Yes,
worked
did.
for you, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Now,
And
you going to go right back in the cage after
yes,
this
I
one?
am.
Even in between innings in that Rising Sun, she was not happy with herself, so she was working.
Yes, definitely. One more thing. Another thing that helped us all out tonight is God. So I just want to say, like Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. And that's what He did tonight. I know I can say that I definitely leaned on God throughout the whole night, and I just want to thank Him for that.
And we thank you for stopping by to chat with us. Good luck the rest of the
Thank you
season.
so much.
Caravel gets the win here tonight, and you are the player of the game.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, those are our player interviews. We're going to wrap it up here from Caravel Academy, where the Buccaneers win 7-2. And Shannon, give me your thoughts on the ball game tonight and what you saw.
Well, I think it's a tough loss for the Smyrna Eagles, and they're fairly young, so hopefully they kind of take this, and we always talk about the losses and what you can learn from that, so hopefully they go back and get together as a team and see where they can make improvements. And obviously for Caravel, this is just another step along the way for them, and really nice to see them rebound from the Rising Sun game where they weren't quite themselves. And, we just talking to Haley Grygo, they're workers. And that's one thing that Coach Johnson says all the time about his team. They're just willing to come out and work and figure out how to make adjustments and win. And I think both teams moving forward are going to be successful, and our teams to watch certainly. But congratulations to the Bucs tonight. They did a great job.
All right, that's going to wrap it up here. Our thanks to the athletic director, Craig Bailey, both coaches, Nikki Shirey at Smyrna and Randy Johnson here at Caravel. For our broadcast crew, Jason Winchell producing, Pat Garriantes on camera, and my broadcast partner, Shannon Timmons. I'm Glenn Frazier. The final once again here from Caravel, the Buccaneers 7 and the Smyrna Eagles 2. Thanks for viewing our live stream here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.